So this one we was fitting to talk about, according to my notes here. We did have productivity hacks on the list, which we had sort of touched on earlier. We had talked a little bit. I think, oh no, we didn't actually ever get to it. I had it on the list of things to talk about for Pomodoro productivity, but we never really got to that. But we did talk a little bit in episode 8 about new tab page and PWAs, browser extension, which does tie into like the productivity hack. I think I did go through there and like I showed up, oh, I have new tab page. And we might have even mentioned somebody else I had chatted with was like, oh yeah, I also made a new tab page. They had one they had posted on Hacker News.
Oh, cool.
And I wonder if I could ever find that conversation. Nope. When did estimates turn into deadlines? Oh man. That's a frustrating thing to talk about. But yeah, and then productivity hacks. Then this other thing here was like slides and new tools. I think that fits into productivity because part of the productivity as a manager is communicating, and slides and presentations, I think, are a great way to do that. Open to being wrong about it, but
I think it's a very audience and presenter specific thing.
You know, so the thing that's up on HN was, see if I can't find them, some presentation slides with Markdown from this guy's website called Slidev. Like, that's a cool, I like cool domains. I'm going to do a little presentation right here. Sli.dev, Slidev. Well, this is pretty neat thing. Get started. You write some Markdown. You tell it how to do some layout. Oh, I was just worried about that.
I have seen some tools that do like bash to slide and Markdown to slide. So it looks like this is in that Markdown to slide category.
Oh, yeah, like the HN thing that's talking about it. You know, if we go through and look at this, you know, this thread, folks are talking about a thing called Deckish, which makes a little bit of deck that makes PDFs to SVGs and something. Someone else mentioned, oh, Emacs does this, but like, what does Emacs not do? That's not very handy. Org mode could do this. AI presenter, Marp presenter, Reveal.js. Now, Reveal.js is one I've used, and I think it's really great when you have slides that are like one word, one bullet point or one title or 2 bullet points and a big image or something. You don't have a lot of control. Somebody else is like, oh, why don't we use Pandoc? Why don't we use Hyperdeck? Hyperdeck is iPad and Mac only. That's why I don't use it. Another call out for Mark. And then down here is where there's this whole thread where folks are talking about, oh, the presentations, all presentations suck. And this happens, we see at like SAC for sure, the presentation, someone's made a presentation that is totally targeted, that I would look at it on my screen, on my computer, just me right now. You know, and it's not designed for like your presentation on a big screen to this audience or on a medium screen, you know, like when you're doing a conference. Like, oh, let me share my slides with everybody in the Zoom. Well, now they don't even get to look at your stuff full screen because there's the gallery view or the other thing or the speaker highlighter, the chat box, all this other BS in the way. So you've got the rule about a presentation that they say when it was in person, right, was let's have the font size should be like the oldest person's age divided by 2 or something, should be your smallest font. And then you shouldn't have like scientific conference and you go there and it's just like a wall of text. Unsuitable in a big screen, big auditorium, also unsuitable on a small screen, like in a Zoom or something. Slidev looks like a pretty quick way to like turn those out, but you know, I think other parts in the conversation were like, oh, well, let's just use Google Slides, Canva, PowerPoint, and Keynote, which both still, you know, exist.
If you like the visual interface, then the WYSIWYG interface of go in and drop things and use menus and use toolbars. But this,
Right.
you could use
Slides
GPT to create.
Yeah, and Slides as code, I think, is a very, very good idea, because Slides as code, let me put it in my repo. Now it's tied into my ticketing system when I need to change it.
You could generate it out of docs. I mean, you could generate it out of your code docs with whatever code doc tool you're using.
Yeah, there's
markdown for that, and then
different
decide it.
elements with Vue, a bunch of different kinds of styles for layout. You have to use a browser to export to PDF. There was some folks in the thread like, why is it so heavyweight to do that? I don't know, because
PDFs are hard.
Making HTML and then having the browser mostly render it is, you know, I feel like good enough without writing some very, very custom tool set. This thing looks pretty easy, you know, as long as you have Node. Make some scripts, VS Code extension, easy peasy. What do we got? Record RTC, nice tidy little CSS framework, Vue 3, Vite, oh, everybody uses that. Mermaid diagrams, Iconify, I can't remember what those guys do. I mean, I know it's icons, but which ones were they? Browse icons. Are these guys cooler than? Oh yeah, I forgot. These are the ones where you get to pick a whole bunch of sets together and pick the ones you want, and then they rebuild for you an icon set that you can then use in your own code. This thing's pretty cool. Got code runners. Whoa, that's pretty cool. This thing looks like a lot more mature than I was expecting it to be. I might have to try to make a presentation on this one. That's the other side of those presentations, you know, wall of text. Give me some bullet points, and then deliver it to me as a PDF when you're otherwise showing it on there. Custom something. Here's another fun one called Hedge Doc. Try the demo. Continue.
Collaborative Markdown editor.
Here's Hedge Doc. Hedge Doc is just fancy Markdown with collaboration. Somebody else points us to a tool called Deck Set, Design Slides.
Mac OS.
That one looks like requires OS Catalina. Oh, that's unfortunate. Pandoc. I don't know if you've ever used Pandoc and Beamer, but loads of people are talking about Pandoc and Beamer.
Beamer I've never used, but Pandoc is pretty, you know.
Pandoc is kind of like everywhere. You ever used Obsidian?
I would if it would ever support having a vault open in multiple windows.
Oh well, I think we might have gone over that one.
It's from the one screen on a laptop universe, with one desktop, one screen, and it's from those workflows. It's not for us old people that use lots of monitors and lots of virtual desktops.
Is that only an old person thing?
I don't know.
Maybe that's an ADHD,
grew up with
ADHD thing. You know, let me just have I got to do a different thing. New desktop, new Windows for all the shit that I'm doing on this one. Here we go. Did we show Hyperdeck? No, that's this one. No, that's Deck Set. Okay, Hyperdeck's another Mac OS one. Marp. Have you ever heard of Marp?
Which version of Mark? There's lots of Marks.
Marp. Yeah. MARP, of course.
Marp. Oh, Marp. No.
Markdown Presentation Ecosystem. Hey, they got a website. Marp.app. How to write slides. You make a slide, you put an HR to separate them. I love that. Build on common mark. Look how easy this is. And you put some bang commands in there. I like bang commands for shortcuts in there. Split pages by dash, dash, dash. Marp for VS. Command line tool. Might have to do another one where we like go through and like kick through all of these kinds of gizmos. You can like hide markdown example. I wish they had a playground, you know. Maybe I'm just missing it. Maybe I can edit this.
No.
No. That's just to show my get started.
VS Code, CLI.
I would have to like do something in another tool. I don't know if I really want to get that in my VS Marketplace at the moment. Oh, look, and it gives you a nice little preview and puts these slides on the other side and the other side. You know, like the preview from regular old Markdown. You have to do Marp equals true in your front matter. And then you just start writing, and then it does something. Hey, that's pretty good. Built-in Markdown preview. It's the same tool. And then you give it its fancy directives.
Presumably it has some output to save that. Yeah, export slide.
Here we go. Okay, you have a Marp CLI to do the thing. And then it gives you PDFs, PPTX, or HTML. Exporting blah, blah, blah. Installs require Chrome, Chromium, Edge, or Firefox. And then configuring it that. That's okay. We know how to handle those kinds of universes. And then Copilot, get your Copilot involved. Add your own CSS. This is pretty cool. Put an outline at the top. That's all the features that I would need. I use Reveal.js a lot. See if we can find them handy. Handy framework. Boy, where was like just a online editor at slides.com? Oh, man, now you're crushing it. Oh, it's $5. I wanted to just like Slides AI. Now it's AI powered. Oh, baby. This is a nice looking editor, but I don't think this one is making code into
Right.
slides. I don't know if I have OpenTHC API.openthc.org. I think we have some slides I did with Reveal somewhere. Reveal.js. And this is just like we took the presentation, and Reveal is great. Reveal is great on the web. You just have the thing, and people are just paging. And then if you have subsections, I don't know if you can see it, but there's like arrows at the bottom that expand down through those three sections, next over. And then you go down through those things. You can see some of these slides I've made are too damn tall, so you miss out on a part. That's kind of not awesome. The images, it's not part of the code. Those images were created with the UML. The UML exports the PNG, and then I had to put the PNG on this one. But I don't think I would use this one either if I was using like a presentation to... My presentation to the business owner doesn't look like this. My presentation to another software engineer for introductory purposes, this is what it looks like. The presentation for like the in-depth part for the operator would be different than the in-depth part for the engineer as well. I should convert all of these diagrams. I should convert them all to Mermaid, because that runs through.
Yeah.
Looks nicer out of the box than Plant UML.
Yep.
Which I have spent a small amount of time trying to tidy up, but it's rather difficult. Oh yeah, Reveal. But Reveal was nice. I hacked out a little bit of code, run one tool, and it's like done. And it's using the same sources that I'm using to present other documentation. Like the API manual is made with the same source material that makes Reveal. I could probably, I bet, use Slidev. Don't know how to do that one. But you know, if I can get a picture in the slide that looks like this nice homepage, this is like not terrible. Using the dash, dash, dash. This one is odd. One of these other ones uses Markdown. Markdown says it's 4 dashes.
Right. It's
And
3
this one
dashes,
says
4 dashes. It's an unlimited number of dashes. Which one is it? Markdown is too broad. There's too many different markdowns.
Okay, Obsidian is also saying 3 dashes. But this one, oh, this one's also 3 dashes. Shit, man. I wonder if I've been putting 4 dashes all over the place for no reason.
Well, like Ulysses uses 4 dashes, for instance. I mean, I know that. So you probably picked it up from whatever Markdown. What's GitHub Markdown? Does it use 4 dashes?
No idea. Global GFM, Global Freight Management. Blocks and inlines, leafs, inlines. Trying to see if they have that.
Because they do have lines. I just don't remember.
3 stars on a spacey line, 3 dashes, or 3 low lines on their own line all make the HR. It's only 3. I do not know.
Whatever Markdown you started with probably is the one that you picked it up with, and a lot of times it won't 4 won't break it. It will treat it as 3.
Yeah, I mean, one of the nice things about Markdown is that shit accepts a lot of slop. This one's got like code highlighting and all in there. Put some front matter to tell it like a theme, and then I guess they've got a couple of different layouts defined. Built-in layouts, centered, cover, default, end, back, full, image left, image right. Love them. Just an image. Embed an iframe. Feel like that attribute that tells you the iframe should probably have been something like layout iframe left, iframe dash URL the thing, but you know, overnaming it, a bunch of other different layouts. I wish they had some pictures of what those all different ones look like, showcases. Here we go. Look at all these kick-ass slides. Health orb shader. Start, explore. This is all just like slides. These are pretty good. That's a nice one.
There was a link to the source. I wonder what the source looks like.
Was there?
Yeah, it was in the last slide.
Source of the slides.
Oh, 404.
404. Oh well. I guess we'll never know how the orb shader works. Gets most wanted, powered by Unsplash. I think that's for icons, right? One, it tells my indicator up here, 1 to 25, and you just like space bar. These are nice. Oh, and then I'm going through every single one of the tools for something of Git. This is cool. Some weird clicks. Clicks number 1, 2, 3. Would love to see the source of this one. Nope. If we make it to the end, maybe there'll be a link. Fin, it just ends with that. Hey, yo, this guy's still works. Thanks, bro.
Slides.md.
Slides.md, that seems like the right one. Oh, it's giving me a preview in here. Code. I want to see the code. That is a lot of front matter. Fave icon, different fonts, a big info block, another background, another background. So that's my front matter. MDI-get. I wonder what that reference is. Some magical component, I think, that they have put in here somehow. Target group. So here is, this looks like front matter in there for a specific page.
Yep.
And so then you do dash, 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 and you've made your page front matter, and you're just using a single heading for the page content with another magic footnotes component.
Yeah, your H1 is your
and then we have this. I can't tell if it's a header or a tail of the thing, as otherwise maybe this is like, looks like it's making a blank page. And then some of these, there was a mechanism. Footnote number one, footnote number one, footnote number one. One of these or two of these, there was a spot where, like, if you looked at it on step one, it showed, yeah, bash. Look at this weird incantation here. Bash all 1 through 3, and then
I mean, that's your code formatting, right?
I think this is the part when we were going through the git config.
Oh, like it's setting up the different,
here.
Yeah, the different sub slides or whatever.
Config. If I'm on this page, but I'm on no clicks, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Clicks 1. Well, this is very bizarre to me, man. I think
like you can't go to page 12.
My browser history has hosed me on this one. All right, if we start here, page 5, page 6, page 7, page 8. Page 8 is get add, and now I have clicks 1, and it's only those two. And then it says clicks 2 up here, and now I have only this one, and then I move on. So that was for get add. Let's just go and find get add. And then here it says all 1 through 3 and 5. That's what it did. Like the first
lines 1 through 3.
It had all of this nicely done. Then the second click, only these ones were visible.
And then just 5.
And then that. And then it takes me to the next slide. So somehow that's indicating. So diff should do the same thing. All of them, some of them, the last one. Yeah. All of them, some of them, another one, the last one. So git commit has even more of those things. Yeah, that's right. All 1 through 5, 7, and 9. Highlight all of them. Just highlight 1 through 5. Just number 7. Just number 9. I guess he's got blank space in there for formatting and makes the counting look nice. That's kind of a neat trick. This seems like a very good one for sending, to somebody who's like, oh, I need to figure out something done real quick. And look how clean this kind of code is for showing you. Would be nice to see. I wonder what that footnote module, where'd that component come in from? Playwright, Chromium, something. I don't see like this. Maybe these are built-in components into built-in components. Arrow drag, light or dark, link, powered by, render, slide current number, blah, blah, blah. I was looking for a footnote. I don't even see it in here. Writing a components, make a component, do a thing. See built-in components and themes and add-ons. Well, I think there's a little bit more to chase down on something like that. Yeah, you could probably turn some stuff out real fast with this thing. Although, again, I'm still stuck on Google Slides for most of my stuff. I make a Google slide deck for the company, right? Like my investor presentation slide deck. And I make one, and it's got like 60 pages in it. And, and there's like 8 pages that talk about finance. But they talk about them at different perspectives and different viewpoints. So when somebody's like, oh, can you make us a slide? Can you make us a show? Give us a presentation about OpenTHC real quick. I go to like the main slide deck presentation and I slice out different pages from it. Say, oh yeah, you need this one. Which one of my 6 finance pages should you see? Oh, you should see the current and future, current, where we are and our projection at a very high level, right? So, and I just like copy the thing, retitle it, delete a bunch of the slides that don't matter, maybe wiggle the order on them, but generally I like to go through the same flow. And I'm like, I'm done with that. And I'm done with that. I don't know. What do you do? So
I don't at all.
You don't? No, you don't do presentations? You're not stuck doing presentations?
I mean, if I do presentations, it's just me talking. And it's always off the cuff. I don't do prepared presentations. I don't do slideshows. It just doesn't work for my brain.
I'm just I just write one very long email.
Exactly. Yes. More likely though, I just sit there or stand there and talk.
Oh yeah.
I know what we're going to talk about, or somebody surprises me and says, "Oh hey, guess what?" And I'm like, "All right, whatever, let's go." With my clients, because my roles with my clients are primarily advisory, I want to make sure they own whatever it is that we come up with. So
Sure.
They get to write it down. They get to put it in whatever format makes sense for them, their team. Because if I put it in a format that makes sense for me, that doesn't do them any good, right? We all see those cases where your consulting firm gives you a report. It sits there in the Google Doc and no one ever looks at it.
They don't want some kind of deliverable. Like I feel like I've been stuck in a scenario, not stuck in a scenario, but I've been in the scenario where they want you to talk, but also have some kind of deliverable, which could also at the end of it just be a very long email.
Or a recording and a transcript.
Oh, I mean, a lot of times I'm doing exactly like we do for these things. Oh yeah, well, I'll totally work with you guys on XYZ. Get an hour on my calendar, and it's way easier to do this. Set up Gemini to record, set up the thing to record, and then at the end, sometimes they say, "Hey," and afterwards, would you distill it all down and give us some other kind of like more official deliverable by which what I hear is another line item on the invoice. That's right. That's what I hear. And then you get 2 line items on the invoice. One,
I put it very early because this is my deficiency zone, right? This is the thing I'm really bad at and makes me punch holes and block walls and metal posts and things of that nature when you ask me to sit down and write something. If I'm doing it on my own, fine. But when I get that pressure of trying to write it, I fall apart. So this is very early in the conversation. This is very early. It is in my proposals. It says, I do not give you my notes. I do not give you any documents.
This is like your pre-engagement communication.
Right. Yeah. If you want it written down, that's great. We will do that together. You or someone in your team will own that knowledge by writing it down themselves. Because if I write it down, I already own it. But it's not fucking mine. It's yours. You're paying for it.
Right. I mean, if they're paying for it, why don't you do it?
Well, because if I write it down, I already know it. Whoever writes it down learns it.
Oh, I definitely get that part. Right. When I'm going to pay attention, I'm definitely a note taker.
Right. So if I sit there and have someone else put it together in whatever format, using whatever tools, whatever style makes sense for their teams, that person now owns that knowledge and they can disseminate it in any way they choose. And now they're the source of that information.
You could just run your whole thing on that consultative side as like, come to my meet. I'll go to a meet of your platform choosing. You guys record it, and then it's all done.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll send you a follow-up email with some like top-level bullet points or something.
Before these all the AI transcriber tools and stuff came out, and I guess some of them were around, but it wasn't to where it made it into my lap yet. I always said, you hit the record button on your Zoom or Google Meet, so you end up with the recording. And if you don't do it, that's fine. But you should do it. You should record every one of our conversations.
I mean, 1,000 years ago, when we were all meeting in person at our boring ass desk jobs, you know, I mean, I remember a non-zero amount of meetings where whoever the senior staff was in the meeting had their assistant in the meeting, right, who sat there and scribbled notes the whole time. And that was like all there was to it. And every now and then, whoever's in charge, she looks over and goes, hey, what about what did we just say 5 minutes ago? Cool, you know, and it's they're ready to rock and roll. And somebody would get a follow-up email. My other least favorite thing from some of those is like, oh, we had a meeting with a bunch of action items. Who's doing what? I already forgot what I said I was going to do. Because nobody's writing anything down. Yeah, so I got to do presentations for sometimes telling clients how to do stuff, showing them an architectural diagram of what we're thinking we're going to build, blah, blah, blah. I got no problem doing some of that stuff as a deliverable, but then sometimes they come back and like, oh, well, how come you didn't make it pretty? I was like, I told you I wasn't going to do that. I don't know. But with this thing, I could maybe make one that starts off slightly less shitty. You know, when I make them in my Google Drive, dude, those ones are very ugly. You know, and I grab some clip art and I don't bother to scale and crop it nicely or anything. I'm just slapping that crap in there. You know, getting good contrast on my images. No, that's not something I do. You know, that's not for me.
Other thing I hate about slides is that they never come with the presentation.
You know, we had that.
And you've got half and the presentation, even if you have the recording of the presentation, it's baked around the slides. And when they're not separate standalone items, they're kind of not worth it anything unless they're together and you have to consume them together.
So at SAC, we watch a bunch of presentations for these companies. They're not technical presentations, right? But folks have stuff in there and they're like, oh, yeah. And we've assessed that there's like a 50 billion total addressable market. And we think we're going to get this and we're going to get this. And here's some links to where we got that information. Well, when I'm viewing your screen in Zoom, I can't click that link.
Right.
And then you didn't deliver me the slides or anything else. So I can't find that link to click it. Maybe it says in the footer that you got it from some stats website that I've already heard of, but I don't want to go and type it into that one. And a couple of times it's been one of the persons on the investor side is, oh, I'm familiar with whatever stat site, and they're going in there to look for it. It's like, how did you get that this was the stats for people who want to purchase beard dye or whatever? Because I'm going in and I'm looking at it and I see it's only 75 million. Oh, well, you're looking at the wrong one. Why didn't you just give me the link to the right one?
Right. Yes.
Why didn't you give me the thing? Oh, well, our presentation's not that awesome. So what? It's not that awesome. Like, I just watched you do it. Give me the presentation. Occasionally someone will say, get the PowerPoint. I can't view a PowerPoint or whatever, but that viewing problem is sort of solved. And every single one of these exports to PDF. Just export it to PDF. Hide some of the slides that don't matter. Export to PDF. Ship that out with people, preferably even before the presentation.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time to jam today, so I got to call it. But I think these things are pretty dang cool.
Yeah, they are.
I'm gonna have to give one of these a kick. And that Slidev, the one that showed up on HN today, MIT licensed too, which is like my favorite license. You know, now you can use it and not get stuck too bad.
Right.
Oh, I mean, maybe they change it in the future, but you've got it now, and what you have is that. So you're in great shape.
Yep.
Oh man, we didn't even get over. This thing's got a tidy little UI. This thing's actually, I'm even more excited now, except for all the JavaScript. I fucking hate JavaScript. What are you gonna do, man? That's the world we live in.
That it is.
So next, one of the things we should talk about is what paper you are sending people engagement contracts. I would like to talk about that one next or soonish, because man, I find myself in the situation with early stage companies where they have their expectation of like my work is changing over time as their company gets more and more serious.
Right.
But I was like, but I'm still in the, hey man, I'm only here for helping you prototype and like riff on stuff. And so
they start to think of you as part of the team and think of you, they start to put you into the employee box.
Right. And like, I said, I have a limited availability for you, and it's in these buckets of my week. Here's your carve out, so we can have meetings in that time. And if we're not, that's when I'm also going to be working on your stuff. And if I can find other time, I'll fit you in. And then text you on Wednesday evening at 6 p.m. like, hey, our other devs that we've hired, they just like deployed something to production, but I don't see everything working right. And and I'm over here going, what do you mean production? I didn't even know you had a production environment.
Well, then you should probably talk to whoever set that production up, shouldn't you?
Right. Come in and help because they can't figure it out or they're not available now because, the time zone difference or whatever. But getting that stuff dialed in and putting something on there,
let's get something on the calendar for next week.
Yeah, that's something I would like to actually really get figured out. I moved it up, so that could be the final one.
I meant the response when they call you with those surprises. We'll talk about it next week sometime.
We'll
talk on the calendar.
No, well, we're going to talk about it on Wednesday, man. I'll see you there.
All right, man. Cool.
Thanks. Out.
Bye.